For the longest time, if you had asked me, what is your number one favorite movie of all time, most likely I would have answered Fight Club. Now, I feel like my answer would no longer be that. I'm not actually sure what my answer would be, but the embarrassing thing is that maybe my answer is different in part because of the public perception of that film and how much it's changed over time. I feel like a lot of people in society think that movie means something completely different than what I think that movie means, and how it's kind of a handbook for sad, lonely men to hang out with other sad, lonely men. And also how the movie is supposed to be anti capitalism, but at the same time, it's a capitalistic movie. Now, speaking of sad, lonely men and sad, lonely people, and also people who feel disenfranchised, cut off by society, who are just angry with everything and everyone, this record is a pretty good jumping off point for that mentality because this is the brand new album, the sixth album from rock band The Armed, and it's perfectly titled The Future is Here and Everything Needs to Be Destroyed. Now, this may come as a bit of a surprise, but I'm not really the biggest fan of this band. I've liked a few select tracks from each album, but for some reason, a entire project from The Armed has never really stuck to me necessarily, but that is until now because I genuinely really 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 love this record. I think that this is a really aggressive, sweaty, yet perfectly nuanced balance of mathcore, noise rock, and indie rock that I find to be highly effective all across the board. And I also don't think it's a coincidence that I'm enjoying this record from this band. And I feel like on this album, the mystique that sometimes they seem to have is taken away. This is less of thematic, I guess, representation of the band, and this is just a collection of really good, loud music. I'm just finding this to be a pretty depressingly accurate depiction of what it's like, kind of like a stark representation of what it feels like to simply be alive today, as far as everyone and everything is all of the time. At least that's how I feel a lot lately. I saw my mom the other day and she wanted to talk about Trump and talk about politics and have you seen what this son of a bitch is doing now? And I've said this before in the past, but I've muted a lot of words on my social media because it's just too much. It's too much mentally, but at the same time, it doesn't even matter because I still learn about everything, whether it's through my family, my wife, my friends, and it's just constantly in your face. And a funny thing that I have to admit that I don't believe I've ever said on here is the fact that it's funny that I've become a content creator over the last year, but I hate content. Now, when I say that, I consume Twitter and YouTube and other various forms of people creating stuff and giving you information. And also, to be completely clear, all the people that follow me that I'm mutually friendly with on TikTok, I look at your content because I feel like what you're doing is worthwhile or I appreciate your support. So I like to show love back. But as far as your For You page and scrolling through video after video after video, I actually don't do that. I've come to this point where I feel like everything is a grift. No one is genuine. Everything is disingenuous. And everyone is a fucking grifter. And I hope that one day I don't become a part of that because that would make me very, very sad. But unfortunately, that's how I feel about 85% of what I see on social media. And I feel like that 85% is represented on this album in a very honest way. You know what? Fight Club is still my favorite movie. I'm not going to be embarrassed by that. I'm not going to be bullied into thinking that movie is not what I think that movie is. There's so many great scenes in that movie, and Ed Norton is incredible in that movie. Ed Norton was also my favorite actor for a long time. And I don't know how to feel about that anymore because I feel like the perception of him has changed a lot as well over the years. You know what? This is all fine. It's called growing up, it's called evolving. Maybe if I really sit down and think about it, I have a different favorite movie and a different favorite actor. Maybe. And also, this is a very, very good post hardcore record. Check it out if you have not. 9 sticks of butter. Peace, love, butter.